Hi, I want to talk about term limits and the Electoral College. Now, for term limits, it's been brought up since McCain has sometimes went against party lines. Now, he has been on party lines about 90% of the time, but they call him a rhino, Republican in name only. Now, these are extremists because, again, 9 out of 10 times he's voted with them. That's one of the only reasons they are spouting hatred about term limits. Now, as a libertarian, I'm fine with considering term limits. We have them for the president. Now, we do have term limits in a way. It's called voting them out. But we can consider term limits since they suddenly want them due to McCain not voting 100% of the time with party lines. Seems to be their spark. After, and only after, we ban and take away and do away with the outdated discriminatory Electoral College. Yeah, as a libertarian, I lived in many states, country and city. I grew up in the country, upstate. Lived in New York City, Texas, California, Florida. And that is the only state where your vote actually counts of those. Is Florida, a swing state. Few states decide the election, only a handful. Because most are obvious where they're going to go. If you're living in Texas, even after so many votes, the conservative vote doesn't even count. And of course the liberal votes are not going to count, or Democrat votes are not going to count at all. And the conservative ones, after they already won, you can pile them on by tens of thousands and it doesn't matter. So most of the votes don't count. And then the electorates, some states get 3 delegates or 10 and such. They have a varied number. And it's not an equal representative of the population. I believe it was somewhere like Idaho or Nebraska where they had one electorate for every 110,000 people. Whereas in California it was like 400,000. So it's not even consistent with the number of electorates for number of people. So it's completely ridiculous, outdated, and discriminatory. Now, I value aspects from both parties, but I also value honesty first. The lying Christian conservatives, yes, lying, as they are big Trump supporters, so they are all coined liars from this point on, as far as I'm concerned, don't care because they are thieves. Yes, they've won exactly one election in the last 6. Obama won 2, Gore won the one before that, and Clinton won one before that. Actually, they won one, I believe, the last 8, actually. Clinton, the 2 Clintons, Bush won once, and that's it. So they're fine. They say New York and California doesn't decide the election. No, they don't, actually, because many in rural parts of New York, upstate, and even in the city, don't always vote Democrat. And you're also canceling out the many conservative votes in the state. Upstate is majority conservative. But we're throwing out all of our votes. And it's discriminatory. Just because you temporarily benefit at this time, when Trump was ranting about the Electoral College, many were getting on board, and then he became completely silent after the results. And I made these proclamations before the results. There's no reason the majority should not rule. You can come up with any silly excuse you want. It's discrimination. Every taxpayer vote should be equal. On national elections, it should be a total of the total votes. So you don't just pander to groups or areas, you go to everyone. And if Democrats won California and New York by a majority, 75%, they could still lose the election. So you have to represent the majority of the people. But we know Christian conservatives these days are liars, and you can't trust a single word out of their mouth. I am all for smaller government. I am for defunding animal agriculture, who get tons of welfare subsidies, destroy our healthcare system, environment, massive food waste. and factory farm billions of tortured animals. I'm against funding children by people who are against birth control. Yes, every parent and every child over 18 years gets over $300,000 in benefits. Tons of benefits from socialist public schools when I can go without health care. The huge child tax credits and much, much more they take for granted. Gays and childless foot the bills. Yes. So Republicans love welfare as long as they benefit. They're hypocrites. That's why I deem myself more libertarian or lean libertarian. If they want everyone for themselves, I am fine with that. Cut the welfare in animal ag and for overpopulating. Thank you, and we need to get rid of the Electoral College and then we can discuss term limits. Thank you.